perhaps have a real crack at the World Championship next year. And then if he does that, well, then he'll have his pick of the offers for 2021.
That's the thing, isn't it? I mean, you can understand it from that point of view, because at the end of next year, a few more doors open. I say at the end of next year, it will be at the start of next year. That's the thing, as we've been pointing out.
The first prototype GSXR engine that he's running for the first time this weekend to get some crucial data and information for the Hamamatsu engineers. Would he budge? Would he heckers like? He was absolutely, talk about tight-lipped. He just said there are lots yesterday for the Italian. He said at the moment the RSGP is just too difficult for him to control and he can't be consistent. It can be good for 1 or 2 laps, but the way the bike behaves, its characteristics, its unpredictability, it just means that you cannot run any kind of pace on a consistent basis. Sylvain Gintley goes. It was a bit of a tough day for Nakagami. Pressure on that right shoulder with all these heavy braking zones. The decision to take the surgery right now, absolutely the correct one. And he said, for the first time yesterday, you can tell how much he's been compensated.
Actually having to adjust his riding position in the last sector in Thailand, in the last 10 laps, just to try and help himself out. We heard yesterday, there's a problem here for Pecco Bagnaia. There's a problem actually for his Pramac Ducati teammate at the moment, Jack Miller, who's not been out to set a time at all. A technical issue, Simon Crafar informs us. That's a bit of...
To the bike, and they changed the sensor, stroke sensor, as in it measures how far up or down the front fork goes. And then he went out, it's straight back in, and they didn't bother with the sensor, they're looking further in. I think it's something to do with anti-wheelie and traction and all this. That had strength to push and pull, not bad, but I had no power to lift my arm. As it obviously, Tucker's not that, you know, that point where it won't lift up, but as it recovered, I think what Tucker's saying is the same as I experienced.
Fourth on the grid here a couple of years ago, Aleix Espargaro. That's probably his best ever qualifying performance in the Motogp World Championship. We briefly saw there Miguel Oliveira, who's got shoulder problems of his own, not helped yesterday by a massive crash at turn 12, where Aleix Espargaro is just safely negotiated. He fires the Aprilia out of victory corner. Over the line, Aleix comes as he's going into that top 10. 7/10 ahead of Gintley.
Miguel Oliveira moves up into 17th place.
Tomorrow's Grand Prix, or at any stage before the end of 2019. Here is the fish splashing his way to a personal best lap time of the session. He picks up 3 spots there. Just
bottles of
water. I think it's safe to say, ladies and gentlemen, and that sitting watching at home, that Steve Day is not going to be suffering from any hydration problems today. Back on track where it is very, very wet indeed. Still here at the Twin Limiters. Electronic gremlins curtailed much of his time on track at the start of this FP3 session. Jack Miller getting straight down to business. He's got Andrea Iannone for company. 15.
Miller, you would feel, having lost out on so much track time at the start of this session, this will be the banker lap if you like, and he'll just take chunks out of that in the remaining 8 minutes.
Is he going to finally move up some spots? Valentino Rossi's actually just gone up to 8th on the Monster Energy Yamaha M1, 56.230, the best we've seen from the doctor this morning. Alex Rins, he does finally break away from
Italy for 2nd spot. Petrucci's on a lap that may well challenge as well.
Yeah, Mika Kallio's had a pretty decent lap as well. He's just gone up to the fringes of the top 10. He's 12th as the Finnish rider. Viñales does set his fastest lap of the session.
This will take Petrucci potentially up 1 spot into 2nd here. Across the line he goes, and it does. A 55.3 then for the Ducati.
Scuppered that deal. Now, does that leave the door still open for their current test rider, Jonas Folger? I think, Simon, you've got a bit of information on that one.
Yeah, I just asked Mirigan that Folger was confirmed. And I said, is that true? Have you signed him again? And he said, no, it's not true. We haven't yet.
In the number of official tests coming your way. Some interesting news, of course, next year. Tradition why Yamaha went for Zarco.
Yes, and Jonas Folger, of course, I mean, he's no slouch, as he's proven before, but he had a couple of wildcard rides this year.
Late show here. The clock has ticked down to 0. The checkered flag is out, and Petrucci on the brakes into turn number 11 may well be. 8.84 has kept Marquez at the top of the timesheets for an awful long time in this very, very wet and damp FP3 session, and as Petrucci nicked it right at the end. Over the line comes the Italian. Has he done enough? He certainly has. A 54.710. Great full sector that bike. Of course, he does have a very strong love affair with the twin and Motogp. Won 125s and 253 years in a row between 2005. Through those first 3 sectors, not where we're accustomed to seeing Crutchlow, wet or dry in Motogp, 17th. Fabio Quartararo, though, it will be that will be credited with leading the combined standings at